In the Lab, a Texans podcast that takes a different look at things. Drew Doherty and John Harris have their lab coats and goggles on, and the Bunsen burners burning. Here's Drew.
Hey friends, this is In the Lab. Drew Doherty here in my kitchen with my good pal John Harris. I'm not up in your kitchen, brother, because you're cool, calm, and collected in your house. And
no offense, I would rather be in your kitchen with you doing this right now.
I would. I would have shared some of these snickerdoodle cookies that my mother-in-law just made. You would have liked them. They're very good. Got some Diet Dr. Peppers we could drink. And hey, if you got lonely, even though I'm in the room, I got a couple wiener dogs you could pet. So it would be it would be all good. And we might hear from them in a little bit. So apologies in advance. But John, it's been interesting. We've had to scramble. We've had to maneuver because of what's going on in the world. We don't see the players like we used to.
Yep.
It's also in that time of year normally when it's quiet. You know, the players typically have gone and finished OTAs, and we're not going to see them, or typically weren't going to see them until the end of July when training camp started. Mark Vandermeer likes to joke that this is the desert.
Yeah.
Meaning there's nothing content-wise to put up. So what we're doing is on a kind of 2 times a week, basically, basis, we're putting out a number in Texans history, a jersey number in Texans history, and talking about all the players that have worn this. Now, the Texans are a young enough franchise that we can do this, and it's not too terrible a task.
Right.
You do this with the Bears, you do this with the Packers. I mean, you're going to go, you got to write a novel about each number.
Yeah. So
I've gotten through about a dozen of these. We started this a couple weeks back, and we're just today going to chit-chat about a few different numbers, like number 80. We all know Andre Johnson wore it wonderfully, but can you tell me who else has worn the number 80 in Texans history? Andre got here the second year of the franchise, 03.
So it would have to be the first year.
First year, because nobody's worn it since he left. Nobody's worn number 80 since he's gone.
And I don't think Mike will give it out. I don't think Mike Parsons will give it out. I don't think that's not.
Because he's the only player in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So the 80's not coming out. So who wore it the first year? I know it was not Jabbar Gaffney. I know it was not. Oh gosh, who am I thinking of? God dang it, Bradford, Corey Bradford.
Not him.
Because he wore 85. Was it Benny Japru? No, Benny was drafted the next year.
I'll save you because you're probably not going to get – you're a smart guy, but even you probably not going to get this. It was a long snapper. It's the first long snapper in franchise history. He was technically a tight end as well. But Sean McDermott – no, not that Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott, first long snapper in franchise history, the only other player in franchise history to wear the number 80, but he snapped all 16 games that year.
Huh.
He didn't have to wait long to play in that first game because Billy Miller caught the David Carr touchdown a minute 14 into that opening season win over the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He snapped it. Chris Brown kicked it through, and the Texans were up 7-zip. So he's a Texas guy too. Played his high school ball at Fort Worth, Arlington Heights. He went to Kansas for college. In 2001, he was with the Buccaneers. 2002 with Houston, and then in 2003, he split some time, played about 6 games total in Miami and New England. So Sean McDermott, who would have thunk it?
Not that Sean McDermott, as you said, who was also a very, very good, a very good college player, played William & Mary. In fact, Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills and Mike Tomlin, they were college teammates at William & Mary.
That's right.
This Sean McDermott, that's a great trivia question.
Yeah.
Because by the math, only one other player has worn number 80. And obviously we know that Andre Johnson, but now we know this Sean McDermott. Interesting.
We're still such a young franchise, John, that there's a few numbers that have only been worn in a game by one player. And let's start at the very beginning. Number 1. Now, number 1 in Houston, hey, that's Warren Moon territory right there.
Yeah.
That's Carlos Correa territory right there. That's big stuff. You know who the only number 1 to wear it in a game, don't you?
Matt Turk.
There you go. Punted for the Texans. from 07 through 10, and then came back in 11 when Brett the Hitman Hartman ripped up his knee.
Yeah, that's right.
And he punted down the stretch in December of that year. So Turk began his career in 95 and it ended in 2011. How about that?
Wow. He's the only number one. See, this is the one thing too. If the NFL didn't have jersey rules and regulations, which I don't know if people know that, but the NFL has jersey regulations. If you're a receiver, you can only wear a number from 10 to 19 and then 80 and above. And obviously most of the great receivers now are wearing something in the teens. And that's, kind of become a thing. But, in college, these guys all wear single digit numbers.
Yep.
And number one is the choice du jour of a lot of different players. And I guarantee you,
a lot of times you got a guy on defense and a guy on offense wearing the number.
Yeah, exactly. And so you would have guys wearing number one, but you just can't. By NFL rules, you can't wear number one unless you are a punter, a kicker, or a quarterback. But our quarterback will be wearing number 4, hopefully for a very, very long time. We won't have to worry about it. But here was the one number I was thinking about. And I don't know if you've gotten this far, Drew. How many players have worn the number 2?
There have been a few.
I know there have been a few lately. So A.J. McCarron now wears it.
Yeah. B.J. Daniels wore it. I don't know that he was ever active. I can't remember.
He was in 2015 at Tennessee. They brought him in to do some Wildcat stuff.
That's right, yeah.
And then I think T.J. Yates wore number 2 in 2017.
Yeah, probably so. Have I gotten a number 2 yet? Let me look in my files. Nope. I haven't got number 2 yet. As a follow-up to number 1, so Turk's the only guy to ever wear it in a game.
Yep.
In 11, you might have had a situation there because Kellen Clemens was a quarterback, signed with the Texans and was with the team for a few games in late November. But you had Yates starting and Jake Delhomme was the backup. So Clemens was the third guy for a little bit. But a week or so after he joined the Texans let him go because they got Jeff Garcia to be the third quarterback for the remainder of the season. So he left about the time that Turk came in, and Turk took his old number back. So interesting there. But as far as number 2, yeah, you're right. That's been a different one. And you know what? I think I'm going to put that next up on the list as far as what I need to cover and what I need to check out. But that's
there a number, Drew? Is there a number? Have you found a number that has not been worn?
No, they've
by
zero.
a Texan?
0.
0. Which I think has just been made. Now it might be in college. I want to say it was just made a legal number. I could be wrong. I swear I saw that just recently.
Well, Kenny Burrough,
I could be wrong.
Great Oiler. He was 00, I think.
Right.
Back in the day. But yeah, we have not seen a Texan wear the number 0.
Well, I think it's. Don't quote me on this, but I think that
you're right.
I hate using the word outlawed, but I think the NFL would not let anybody wear the number 0. And I think that just changed. I think it just changed to now players can wear the number 0, which obviously would be a punter, a kicker, a quarterback.
Right.
Somebody's going to pick it. Somebody's going to pick the number 0. And it's going to be really strange. But I mean, we watch basketball games. Russell Westbrook wears 0. I don't know. I never had the desire to wear the number 0 in any team I played for. I never really had that desire. I don't know. Maybe it's because the heroes, the players that I liked didn't wear 0. I don't know, but I never had a desire to wear 0. Yeah. It's a weird number.
And just as a follow-up, you mentioned McCarron wearing the number 2. B.J. Daniels wore it in 15. Brett Hartman, the punter, wore it in 11. And B.J. Simmons, I don't know that he was ever active. He had it in 04. B.J. is a good friend of the program. So, B.J., if you're watching this or listening, thumbs up or guns up to you.
Guns up.
Nobody's ever passed for more yards in a season in college than him, right?
Nope.
He still has that record.
Guy. He still has that record, which is amazing because of all the obvious, colleges that are throwing the ball all over the place. And it's funny, I've been looking at, numbers of quarterbacks and what they've done in college football over the last 20, 30 years. Nobody's gotten there.
He did a lot of that on a ripped up knee. He was celebrating a touchdown pass and he jumped and fell on his knee. And then he played through like an ACL tear. He was a tough guy. Okay.
He was tough.
You know who else is really tough? A guy that I'm talking with in about 45 minutes. Going to do a Zoom with him. The longest tenured Texan, John, number 46, the only player to wear this number, John Weeks. He's the only guy that's ever worn the number 46.
And I hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
I hope it does. I mean, they give, at some point, Father Time catches up to all of us, and we'll eventually catch up to John Weeks. It doesn't appear that way on the field. You see the way that he works out. Obviously, he'll post on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it might be, and you see how hard he works out. He's phenomenal. I mean, he's just been so very good for this organization for so long, on and off the field. I mean, he's everything that Bill O'Brien could want in a Texan. I was it last year? I'm trying to remember. I think it was last year. Not we don't talk about this game a lot just because of the eventual result. But that week 7 loss to the Colts,
he gutted
up
it
in Indianapolis, was brutal. We lost Will Fuller in the first 3 plays of the game. Then we lost to Sean Gibson, I think, in the first quarter. At some point. He went out of the game. And then Weeks going down, I think it was when he was covering a punt, took forever to get off the field. I mean, he was up on 2 feet, but he needed some help getting off the field. And I don't know if it was his knee or his ankle. I thought it was his ankle. And I'm like, oh my God, of all the people, when anybody gets hurt in a game, I instantly go in my mind, okay, this guy will move to this position. Sometimes it's as simple as this guy is inserted for this guy. Sometimes it's, okay, well, this guy got hurt, so now you got to move this guy over here, then this guy will move in that spot. When Weeksy was banged up, I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do.
Did Nick Martin do some practice snaps as a long snapper?
He did. Well, the good, bad news, depending on how you look at it, the Colts had kind of a long drive, and because they had a long drive, they were able to kind of wrap John up and get him going, because the Texans had a long drive after that, and so he didn't have to go out there for a little bit, and that ended up giving him time to kind of wrap that thing up, and they wrapped it up, and I swear to you, you cut that thing off him, and it would have been like a small cast. And yet he made it through that game somehow and came back the next week and
gutted it out, man.
Gutted it out. Really, really did. And it was phenomenal. It really was phenomenal to see him gut it out.
Was it Nick Martin though? Do you think it would have been Nick, or?
I think it was Nick who would have come in next. We've talked about how JJ at some point.
I was going to say, okay, so
has long snap before.
2 years ago, you and I and the rest of our department moved offices in the building.
Yeah.
We went from the business operations side down to what had been the football operations side. And my office was one of the assistant special teams coaches' offices. So think Tracy Smith, and before him, Ligashevsky had been an assistant under Marciano. So in 2014, I get into the office and I'm clearing out some of the old stuff that hadn't gotten cleared out, and there's an old depth chart from 14, the early part of the season, September and October. And long snapper depth chart, number 1 was Weeks. Can't remember who the backup was back then, but the 3rd string long snapper was J.J. Watt. I guess he's able to do that and had done that at some point, which is not surprising.
Yeah, just to
14, he did it all.
Yeah, I mean when I was in high school, I was used as the backup long snapper. Thank God my friend Troy Minkowski was able to snap, because I never wanted to snap. Now I didn't mind it for the extra points, because that was like a little just dart throw. I hated the punts. The punts were just like, brutal. And it's not the punts are definitely not one of my favorite things, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. So for John to be so accurate with it all the time, but to have a guy that can do that, just, hey, Weeksy, his toes hurt or his ankles hurt or whatever, you got to go in and snap. To have somebody that can just do that as part of, their backup duties is phenomenal. When you told me that about JJ, I was like, incredible that would be for him to have. I would hate it for John, but if JJ had to go in and snap, holy smokes, that would put his career over and above. I mean, he's done everything else. He's caught touchdown passes. He's intercepted passes for touchdowns. He's tackled and sacked nearly everybody there is. He just has to go in and long snap. Hopefully he doesn't, because that means that John is healthy and still snapping him back there is one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. But the only guy to wear number 46, he should be the only guy to wear number 46. That's what I'm going to put down. We got to talk to Mike and make sure that happens.
Here. All right. We'll do this again probably in a couple of weeks because we're still in that desert period. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Just some fun little facts. I'm learning. So I was telling you off screen, this is like a history level, Texans history class for me, because I'm pretty well versed in a lot of everything from 09 on. But, man, before that, it's just kind of blips and spurts and stuff. And I'm learning quite a bit about the Texans history. So go check that out. There's a lot of numbers that we've put up. We put up 1, 99, 80, 46. There's some fun ones. 20. There's been a lot of interesting players who've worn number 20. So this is In the Lab. John, great work as always. You stay safe.
Yeah, man.
I'll see you
Good
again
to see you,
soon.
bud.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.